Hello, and welcome to Courage to Be Visible. It's a podcast for heart centered entrepreneurs who are done hiding in the shadows and ready to step into the spotlight. I'm your host, Andrea Stenberg. I'm a video marketing strategist, and I'm a big believer that showing up as your authentic self is your superpower. And each week, I get to sit down with brave, brilliant entrepreneurs who are showing up authentically, using their voices, building businesses that serve, inspire, and change lives. So if you're ready to grow your business, show up authentically, and make a bigger impact in the world, this is your permission slip to take action. Today, I'm speaking with Erin Summ. She's an international confidence transformation coach, which is why I really wanted to have her on this podcast. And she supports women entrepreneurs, professionals to overcome their fears about being seen, criticized, unworthy, and not enough. And she helps them change their limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs, which I think something that we all need. So, Erin, thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah,
Um,
thank you so much for having me.
so, I wanted to this. Why do you think it is so challenging for so many people, particularly women, to actually be visible and be seen for who they are?
Mm. So I think what's kind of drilled into us, a lot of us, to not speak up, to not share who we really are. A lot of us are kind of told like, you're too much, you're too loud, you're too this, you're too that. We're judged, we're criticized, all these things, right? Throughout our lives, throughout our childhoods. And so we end up squashing ourselves. We end up staying less visible than maybe we would like to be, that we should be. Um, we fear that criticism, that judgment, that people, especially these days, like people arguing with you, like things like that. So it's just like putting ourselves out there can be so challenging sometimes. Being visible, we get so afraid. We fear that we're not enough. Like there's so many underlying layers of not enoughness, not smart enough, not good enough, not deserving enough, all the things. And so we end up staying quiet and not speaking up and not being visible.
And I think, like, I know sometimes one of the things that I see people doing is, they've started a business, they're amazing at what they do, but they maybe they feel like I need another certification, I need more training before I can make a video or before I post online, or the website needs to be
Hmm.
perfect before I let people know what I do. Is that kind of the kind of thing that you're seeing?
Yeah, the perfectionism stops us a lot. Um, yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of women's groups and things over the years, and I've heard a lot of women talk about like, well, like you said, my website isn't done yet. And I'm like, you've been working on your website for like 5 years at least, like why haven't you finished it yet? You know? So it's like the perfectionism gets in the way. We think that everything has to be just right in order for us to launch or to get going. And one of my favorite women who's a business coach says, stop getting ready to get ready to get going, just get going. Which is that's so perfect, because that's exactly what it is, right? We constantly are getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready to get going, and we never actually take action. So there is no perfect, and I try to remind people and myself, because I'm a recovering perfectionist myself, um, to remind people and myself that there is no perfect. That line on your website, or that thing that you're creating, it might not be exactly in the center, and you might not exactly get it there. Just do it. You can go live without having your hair and makeup done and everything looking perfect. You can, people want that imperfection. It used to be where that we would get on video and we would have to look really professional and really put together and have a script and know exactly what we're going to say. But now people just want that authenticity. They just want to hear what you have to say. They just want to see you with your hair in a ponytail after your workout, or as you're on a walk, or in a hoodie. People don't want that polished, perfect person on to watch online anymore. They just want that authentic you.
I agree, absolutely. So I know, like,
Yeah.
back when I used to teach at our local college, one of the things I had students do is they had to do a presentation. And every semester, I would get somebody come to me literally in tears, too afraid to stand in front of a class and speak. So, and then never mind being visible online when you're an entrepreneur. So if somebody comes to you and says, okay, I know I need to be out there because I have a business, but I'm too afraid. How do you help them? Where do people start?
Yeah. Well, let me first start by telling a little bit of my story because I think that's a helpful place to start for a lot of people. Um, because I started being very shy. So in school, for example, like in high school, college, if I had to do a presentation to my class, I would have major anxiety and I would be freaking out for like a week ahead of time, I would be so stressed. And I was so shy and some people some people who knew me as a kid would actually refer to me as painfully shy. um, but I always knew that there was a bigger purpose for my life. I always knew that I was put here for a reason, to make a difference, to make an impact. And so all throughout my life, I did things to help people, whether that was, being a conflict resolution person on the playground in elementary school, or being in the group in college called Dream, Daring to Reach Equality Among Many. I was out there, I was doing things, even though I was shy, I was afraid, I wasn't like a super outgoing person. I tended to be more in the background. I would have been the person in the corner of the room, not talking to people, versus, or just like quietly at the table instead of like talking. But I knew that I was here for a bigger reason. So I got a psychology degree and then I went to coaching school a few years after college because I knew that I wanted to make a difference. So when people come to me and say, Erin, I could never do what you do, I could never speak in front of people, I could never do videos or do live videos. I used to do a ton of live videos. Um, I could never do that. You're so confident. I always say, I didn't start that way. Like my first videos, for example, I was super scripted and I had to read everything and I was very stiff and formal and very, like I wasn't myself at all. And my first speech, I scripted out word for word and I read it word for word in front of me, and that's how my first speeches were. And now I can, run events where have notes, but I'm not reading. I've run retreats and events and I do, video challenges and all these different things. And so, my point is that it doesn't matter where you're starting. You could be super shy, you could be super afraid, you could be just like terrified of going on video or speaking or do whatever it is visibility wise. You can do it. I've done it. Other people have done it. You can do it too. Um, so where I like to start with people is, what is your vision? Right? So like, what is your big vision for your life, your business? Is it to help people? Okay, who do you want to help? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? How do you want to feel? Right? And then put yourself in that position of like, maybe it's retreats. So for me, I love doing retreats. And so I visualize like, oh, I'm at a destination retreat. I'm running my retreat in Hawaii or Greece or Bali or something, and I can envision, and I'm looking at my vision board right in front of my face with like women on the beach and we're sitting in a circle, meditating or doing some sort of thing on the beach, right? And so you actually put yourself in that space of visualizing what you're going to do or what you want and how you want to feel and how that looks and smells and tastes and all the senses. And then the more that you can visualize being in that place, the more you're going to start feeling it in your body, the more confidence you're going to get to actually start doing those things. And then you actually have to start doing them. Just take a baby step. Take just like a little baby step. Maybe make a little video, a 1-minute video on your phone and post it, or just send it to a friend or something. Just do something small. My first speech was at a group I went to every single week, and there was like 8 people there every single week. I was terrified, but I did it. But it was a small kind of step in that, in giving my first speech, right? It wasn't to a big, huge group. It wasn't like to a bunch of strangers. It was to people I knew, and trusted.
Well, and so you said a lot there, and I really love that. So the first one is, thinking about, what is your bigger vision? Because I think that's what stops us, because if you focus on the video or the speech or the web page, it sort of feels like you're focusing on yourself. But when you start looking at the bigger picture, that it's not just about, you're not just standing there going, "Oh, I'm so special, look at me." No, you're actually doing something. And I think that does really change how you approach putting yourself out there. But I also love that idea of visualization, because I was an athlete, and we used to use visualization in athletics, but
Mhm.
it translates to other parts of our life as well. As when you visualize it, then it doesn't seem like something so far off. It starts feeling like it could actually happen.
Yeah, and it literally changes your brain, right? And so you literally start to become more confident. You start to believe in yourself and believe that you can do that thing that you might be totally terrified of now, but maybe in a month or two or whatever, you might have more confidence because your brain is actually saying, "Yes, I can do that. I actually have done that," right? Because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. So if you're telling it, I'm in Hawaii running this retreat, with 10 women or whatever, um, your brain will actually believe that that's possible.
I love that, because I think, like, some people come in and they go, "Okay, this person is naturally charismatic, or this person is naturally a good speaker, or this person is naturally a good salesperson," or whatever it is that they feel like they can't do. And what you're saying is we can all learn those things. We just, can start with visualization and train ourselves to be able to do them. You don't have to be born good at it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think
The
that
visualization
is
really
really
helps with
powerful.
the training.
I think that's really powerful to be able to
Hmm.
realize, okay, just because you're not good at it now doesn't mean you can't be. Do you
Right.
have any
Yeah.
any
You
stories or
used to know how to
examples?
walk or talk, right? But now,
Yeah.
sorry, what
Do
was
you have
that?
any examples of people who've like really turned it around, or made some big bold steps in their business?
Yeah. I have one woman. I knew her for a couple years we were both in the same business training together. And she came to my retreat back in 2019. And she was very, very fearful of being seen, of, you know, I'm sorry, I have my phone turned off, but it's ringing. um, um, it was my watch, actually. My watch is on the desk. um, Sorry about that. So, okay, so there was a woman, she was very afraid of being seen, of being visible, of putting herself out there in the world. And during the retreat, started talking about like trauma and childhoods and different things. And she recognized that she had so much fear of being seen and heard and putting herself out there because of her childhood, because it was very, very scary to be seen. There was a lot of trauma around speaking up or even speaking at all, a lot of times, right? So we were able to break through a lot of that at the retreat. And up until that point, she is a CPA, or she's a accountant, but she was wanting to speak. She would sometimes get asked to do podcasts and different things like that. And she was so terrified, she would often turn them down. She wanted to write a book. She wanted to be a business coach. She wanted to do all these things, but she was too terrified. Um, so after the retreat, I think it was literally like the next day after the retreat, where she did all this work on breaking through and transforming these beliefs about being seen. She got a call asking her to be on a podcast, and she immediately said yes. She didn't have that fear anymore. And she did the podcast, and then she started doing more. She ended up becoming certified as a business coach, and she wrote a book. She was also in a compilation book with different chapters. She wrote a chapter, and all these different things started happening for her because she was able to release that fear of being seen and heard and being visible.
Oh, that is so amazing. And like, can imagine how heartbreaking it would be if she had never taken those steps and now she like how many more people she's impacting because she's able to do those things. That is so exciting. And I hope that it's inspirational for people who have something that they're holding themselves back from that they can learn, yeah, I can do this too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, if somebody's listening to this and they're saying, "Okay, I have stuff that I'm holding myself back. I really want to get in touch with Erin." How can somebody find out more?
Yeah, so I'm the only Erin Summ on the planet, so it's very easy to find me. They can go to my website, erinsumm.com. I have a Facebook group. It's Confident Woman Community with Erin Summ. Um, I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, all the places. So YouTube.
Okay, and I will put those links in the comment or down in the description so people can see that. And you have a free gift for people as
Thank you.
well, if I'm not mistaken.
I have a free confidence or empowered woman speaker series. Is that this? So
Oh,
this is sorry. This is my card deck and journal. It's not a free gift,
okay.
unfortunately. It's a card deck. I can show you a little bit about it. It's a card deck I created a few years ago. So it's literally a 48 card deck. So
So
all
it's
these
definitely worth
cards are
something. That's
yes. So this
oh,
is
this is
all about
beautiful.
thank you. This is all about becoming, more bold, more confident, releasing fears, helping you to feel more worthy, all that kind of thing. So there's 48 cards, and it also comes with a journal if you'd like one. And on the back of each card is either like a mini confidence transformation lesson or just an affirmation. So you can choose a card a day if you want. You can write out your thoughts based on the questions that are empowering and help you to like really like transform your confidence. Um, or if you get an affirmation card, then you just use that affirmation card for the day to boost your confidence. In terms of free stuff, I do have the Empowered Women Speaker Series. So
Okay.
I can give you, I think I gave you that link as well, but that's a free speaker series. I have all the replays up on YouTube as well. So it's a 90 minutes once a month where there's 4 speakers and myself.
Excellent.
It's just a free 90 minutes of empowerment, inspiration, confidence building, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I will put the link to both down below because I think that's definitely worthwhile. Erin, I want to thank you for coming today and sharing your stories about how, overcoming your fears can really impact your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to Courage to be Visible. I hope today's conversation sparked ideas for your own visibility. If it helped, please share this episode with a friend. Follow the show and leave a quick rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps. For links, show notes, and free resources to grow your visibility, head over to the show notes or visit my website. See you next time.